Okay, and we are now about to start part 2 of the one and only Bob. And where we last left off, let's see. The last thing that Bob said was, when you're an animal, it helps to be a realist. So we kind of got a little bit of an insight into Bob's head. I keep wanting to say Ivan, into Bob's head, and how he started off his life and made his way to the Big Top Mall and met Ivan. And I believe that's where we had left off there. So part 2 is dream. The morning I wake up in my cozy bed, way too early for Julia to make me breakfast. She and her mom and dad are still asleep, and even the guinea pigs are silent. My belly grumbles, and once again, I curse my thumblessness. Never thought about that. So, yeah, dogs don't have like a thumb like we do. It's thumblessness. Humans are one big design flaw. The inferior noises, the inscrutable humdrum rumps, and don't get me started on their odor. But the opposable thumb idea, yeah, that was a nice upgrade. The cans I could open, the doorknobs I could conquer. Anyways, I feel worried. Off. Worry's a waste of time, and it doesn't fit with my tough guy act. But sometimes I can't help myself. Before I wake up, I've been dreaming about Ivan and Ruby and Stella. It was a nice dream, a fun and run toe twitcher. Nope, this was a nightmare, a bad one. We were swimming, all 4 of us, in a black, raging river. For some reason, I was in the lead, and I kept looking back, telling them I was going to save them. Me save them? 2 elephants and a gorilla? As I paddled like mad, their voices faded, and I looked behind me, and they vanished. And we have to stop and pause and look at Bob, because he's just too cute. Even a little cartoon drawing. And then I heard it, a faint bark. That bark. I woke up like I always do. I did an all-over shake, trying to toss off the stench of the nightmare that clung to me like shampoo after a bath. I told myself to chill, get a grip, stop worrying about nothing. And yet, some primitive part of my brain, the wolf in me, maybe, is on edge. A lot can go wrong in the moment, left to chance. The blink of an eye, the bounce of a bone. There are so many ways the world can find to fail you. Okay, the smell of a storm. By the time everyone else wakes up, I've calmed down, but the wind outside sure hasn't. It's an early fall Saturday, gusty with scraps of sun, clouds bouncing off each other like bunnies in a basket. Messages of the wind pouring in from everywhere, from dogs making their daily rounds, feral cats, from anxious raccoons. Basically, everybody is asking the same thing. What is the deal with the weather today? I already know. The Weather Channel was on last night with a screen full of big white cotton candy looking swirls. Julia's dad, George, has already taped up several windows. Sarah, her mom, packed an emergency bag just in case we have to evacuate. I feel like pets are, they're very intuitive, and they always know if a storm is coming or if it's going to rain. So maybe that's kind of Bob's way of saying I knew what was coming. So if you have pets, sometimes they just pets seem like they know things like that. Another hurricane is on its way. 3rd this season. Not as big as the last couple, but slow moving. I've seen the routine, and I know the ropes. Once breakfast is done, I sit on the couch in the living room, waiting impatiently for Julia to come home so she can take me on our daily stroll. She has a dog walking service, and she's out walking other dogs. I get my own private walk because she's my own private girl. I can practically taste the storm coming through the open window. The back of my throat tingle, the metallic edge, the fizzy energy. But it's more than that. It's as if the air is up to no good, sneaking up on the world and looking for trouble. I feel like our story is setting us up like something is going to happen. Maybe more than just the weather even. All right, on the poetry of stink. Of course, not everyone can smell what I'm smelling. My nose is a zillion times more powerful than that of humans. Dogs are experts at odor. Students of stink. We analyze the air the way humans read poetry, searching for invisible truths. We don't just smell the good and bad stuff that people notice with their substandard schnozzes. The usual suspects: popcorn and lilacs, freshly sharpened pencils, diapers and Brussels sprouts, and freaked out skunks. No, our noses get it all. The whole shimmery double rainbow in April. Humans, they're lucky to get a cloudy day in November. We get that molecule of roast beef dancing in the wind 50 miles from the tidy kitchen where it just slid out of the oven. We get a cherry lollipop under the back seat of the Honda, 16 cars up on the highway at rush hour. We get things humans can't even dream of getting. We're the ones who find the miracle earthquake baby cuddled in her crib under tons of rubble. Oh, that's true. So after like a storm or, well, a really bad storm or a disaster, it is dogs that they use, usually maybe like a German Shepherd, and they sniff out things or people that might be in danger. Oh, I never thought about that. So dogs have that really good sense. They're trained for that. All right, we're the ones who find lost hikers in the wilderness after a quick whiff of a sweaty rock. We can even tell when someone's sick. We can smell seizures and cancer and migraine headaches. Try getting your guinea pig to do that. We smell feelings too. Sad has a sharp scent with an undertone of sweetness. Sad smells like being lost in a winter forest as the sun goes down. And happy is the best, but there's a touch of wistfulness around the edges. Happy smells like bacon, ice cream served up in an expensive leather shoe. You're going to love every minute of it, but you know it won't last forever. Okay, this next chapter is the news. Sometimes when Julia and I go for walks, I'll break at a corner. Corners are the best for fresh news. And she'll tug and say, "Come on, Bob, there's nothing there." Oh, but there is. Here's the thing about poop. I get that humans are not into that. I see the bathroom doors shut tight, the embarrassed downcast gazes. You guys are totally missing out. This is okay. There's a whole lot of info hiding in your average poop mail. When dogs want to share the latest gossip, we just wait till nature calls. You'd be amazed what we can learn during a quick bathroom break. People read the news, check TV, browse the web. I linger over a fire hydrant and inhale the whole wide world. My ears, by the way, are almost as remarkable as my nose. I pick up all kinds of things humans can't hear. What we do with our noses and our ears is kind of like taking a big old knot and loosening it up, separating out the strands and unbraiding things. People smell a reeking pile of trash in a dumpster. We smell a dollop of cream cheese, a hint of peanut butter, and a smattering of Fruit Loops. People hear the roar of the crowd in a stadium. We hear a strain of a whiny 4-year-old, a whisper of a worried superfan, a note of a grumpy hot dog vendor. Man, dogs are cool. Okay, next chapter is called Snickers. While I watch from my perch on the back of the couch, Julia passes by on the sidewalk. George asked her to keep her dog walking route close to home in case the weather changes. She's wearing a shiny purple raincoat and leading 3 dogs, a goofy mutt named Winston, a timid dachshund named Oscar Mayer, and her Snickers. An old nemesis of mine, Snickers, is a fluffy white poodle with delusions of grandeur, a big snooty pain in the puffball. Ugh, that pooch drives me crazy. Our mutual dislike goes back to my early days as a stray. Snickers was a fancy, pampered, sleep on the pink satin pillow kind of gal. Her owner, Mac, ran the mall where I lived with Ivan and Ruby. We got to think back, but Mac wasn't the original story. We didn't know we had a poodle, though. I can't remember that one. All right, that's where I first encountered Snickers. She teased me mercilessly, and beneath the fuzzy facade, I always suspected there was a little, spark there. Anyways, after the mall closed down, Snickers, being Snickers, landed on her feet. Mac married an older widow lady with more money than sense. and she dotes on the ridiculous poodle. Mac's too lazy to walk Snickers himself, so he hired Julia to do it. "Looking good, Snickers," I called through the open window, and she gave me her curled lip, squinty-eyed face, which, come to think of it, is pretty much how she always looks. As usual, Snickers is dressed to the max. She's wearing a pink poncho, sparkly rain hat, teensy pink boots. Those boots were made for Mackin, I add for good measure. It feels good giving her some grief, but before I can really relish the moment, another annoying acquaintance of mine appears. Ooh, wonder who this is. So this is called Nutwit. Okay, Nutwit. Oh, the gray squirrel who lives in the oak on our front lawn jumps to a lower branch, looking at me with barely concealed pity. I hate pity, especially the barely concealed kind. "I don't know why you taunt her," he says. "You're hardly in position to talk, Bob. You are Snickers. Come over here to the window and say that. So you can what, drool me to death?" "Are you aware that my best friend is a gorilla?" I ask. "You would make a fantastic ape chow, dude." Nutwit reaches for a dangling acorn and yanks it free. "I thought gorillas were vegetarians." "Ivan eats termites," I say. "He might make an exception for you. Face it, Bob, you're soft. You're one step away from your own pink rain boots." "He has a point," says Minnie, one of the family's guinea pigs, from her cage near the TV. "No, he doesn't," says Moo, her cage mate. Minnie and Moo, the guinea pigs. "Yes, he does," Minnie squeaks. "Doesn't, does, doesn't. Wait, you tricked me." Guinea pigs rarely agree on anything. Nutwit leaps over to the window ledge, acorn in paw. He presses his tiny, twitchy nose to the screen. "You couldn't last a day out here, Bob. Some of us have to live by our wiles." "Hey, I lived on the street longer than you've been alive." Nutwit nibbles his acorn. He's quite a prissy eater." "Whatever you say, Bob." I say, "Scram." "Fine, hint taken. Anyway, storm's en route. I should be stocking up on my nut stash while I can." Nutwit gives me a wise guy look. That's how we do it in the real world. He scampers off with an acrobatic flourish. Squirrels never do a simple jump when a quadruple backflip cartwheel is an option. "You're full of it," I say, to nobody in particular. "We're full of it," says Minnie. "Yes, we're extremely full of it," says Moo. And they popcorn in agreement. Guinea pigs hop up and down when they're happy. It's called popcorning. It's totally ridiculous. "You're happy, you wag your tail like a real mammal." "I'm not soft," I mutter, nosing my protruding belly. I leap with effort off the couch. Then I head to the bathroom for a good long drink from the water bowl of power. All right, I'm going to stop there. And I don't think I ever showed you this, but this book was inspired by the author's the book, but the character Bob was inspired by the author's real dog. And his name is Stan. So here is the real Bob, because definitely really similar to the character. So that's the real inspiration for Bob.